Alright, I'm gonna start off with a little joke. And you know, if you had an old Space Command television set from way back then, and you know, you took your keys here, you can make the channel change. That is the actual fact. Anyway, so that's what we got here, and got this old leaf spring off. Got it sitting on top of our well, we got our old one underneath our brand new one here. And like I said, I've been digging a lot of this stuff out. I've had a lot of this stuff for a long time, and I think it's just time to, you know, like I said, dust all the dust off all these old parts and start putting this thing together and, you know, get this thing on the road. I mean, it don't look like much now, but I miss this thing, and you know, I got just about everything I need. I got a 302 for it, and the transmission, all that's still in there. I got the drive shaft out right now. Bed's, of course, sitting right there. But anyway, replacing these leaf springs. There's nothing wrong with the actual leaf spring itself. They're a little bit worn, I mean, if you look at it, but not too bad. But you can tell a little bit. I mean, the old one is a little worn out compared to this new one on the top here. But anyway, so went ahead and gotta make sure you put which side goes to which. They are kind of pretty much idiot proof. Might as well say, you put your short end facing that way and the long end going that way, because if you look at that pin right there, you can really see how much distance it is from right there all the way back there versus from the front of it right there to the front half, because this would be the front of the truck here at all. So anyway, it's kind of like thinking of it like when you're doing brake shoes, at least with this F150. I don't know if they're all like this, but I'm sure they are. I mean, it makes more sense that way. But anyway, it's the first time I've ever put leaf springs on. I ain't never really got into something this deep, but you know, it ain't that big deal really. But anyway, so put your short end to the front and long end to the back, just like you would brake shoes. You know, your primary to the front, your long shoe to the back. But anyway, oh, as a little slide note, when I was talking about that old, you know, Space Command TV from the 60s, used to be if you walk in front of it and you shook your keys, it would change the channel. Or it would make the volume go up, or, you know, make it act all crazy. I heard people back then would used to be, you know, a jerk about to other people about it, just shake your keys like that and make it change. But look up Space Command TV. They're a remote control. They're not like what you would think of today, but they worked off like a tone, kind of. Like when you hit a button. I don't know, I can't really make that sound, but anyway, it works off a tone. But anyway, I've been watching Shag 006 too much, but anyway, I love his sounds. But anyway, so went ahead and got the old mount off, got the new one right there. And of course, it had rivets in there, so I just took and got all them off. I was trying to get everything unbolted, but I mean, them bolts wouldn't come out at all. So I just took the whole mount and everything with the front here, and then the back. I got lucky on, I was able to get it off. And I mean, I bit that over, but I got new shackles for it. We're replacing all this because, I mean, for obvious reason. It looks worse than what it really is. They're really not that bad, but you know, we're gonna replace all this stuff. But so anyway, we got a little bit of rust in the frame here I got to address. I'm just gonna go in there and try and cut some of them out just a little bit. I don't want to cut too much out because that is structural, but get in there and trim it out just a little bit and throw some welds in there. I just filled up with weld and call it good, because this doesn't go all the way around. If it did, I'd be getting another frame. It's just in this little area right here. So anyway, we'll cut just a little tiny little patches out and go in there and see if I can find some 3/8 steel and throw it behind it where you don't see it and fill it up well, and I think we'll call that good. But I can get to that when the leaf spring's installed. But anyway, so I got the rivets knocked out. They were a little bit of a chore. Seems like when you take a cut-off wheel and you get flush behind them, if you get flush behind them with the frame like that, it seems like it, you know, cuts it faster. And you know, I'm replacing the mounts anyway, so I don't care if I dig into them a little bit. But yeah, just take your grinder on them old rivets like that. To me, I mean, I don't have a torch or nothing, but if you get it, you know, hold it flush like that. If you hold that blade flush like that and just cut it off like you would a regular bolt, it makes it a little easier rather than, you know, know, sitting there grinding for 30 minutes on one rivet. But anyway, hope that helps a little bit. But trying to make sure and get all our mounts, you know, mocked up here. Now, this is the first time I've checked it, so they should bolt up. So looks like it. Yeah, it should work. And as you want to see all our bolt holes match up. So all of it matches up, and that does match up. It's just, you just see the other side of dirt, surface rust. But it all matches up beautiful. Just a little bit off, but I think it'd be close enough. But anyway, a little bit of rust hole right in here, but I think I'm just gonna take a welder and just throw some weld on it and let it ride. But anyway, that's what I'm getting ready to do here, and getting ready to throw this leaf spring on here. I'm gonna get this other rear mount off here, and I got new mounts too and shackles. I'm replacing all this stuff because, you know, it's just, it looked worse than what it really is. It's really not that bad, but you know, we're just gonna go in here and do it all and be done with it. And I did notice that I'm missing some bushings, or the stops, whatever you want to call it. It's supposed to be up under here. It's supposed to be a little rubber stop right there, and those evidently must have came off a long time ago. So anyway, yeah, you can definitely see the extent of that, but that's fixable though. It looks worse than what it is, but I'm gonna go in there and just kind of cut it out to a little square and get some 3/8 steel and throw in there and weld it up and let it ride. Now, if it's, like I said, it's not all the way around, so, you know, if it was, like I said, I'd be getting another frame, because that's, to me, it's, you know, the frame's done at that point. That's just me. I don't like mess with frames too much. Something that little like that, I'll do a little bit with, but if it's, you know, worse than that, then, you know, I'm not gonna play with frames, because that's structural, and that's playing with your life. It's like playing with brakes. You know, you don't want to mess around with it, but that little bit ain't too bad. Like I said, it looks worse than what it is, but anyway, so I took a little paint, threw on there, wire welded up, got that cleaned up, because now's the time to do it while you can get to it. And yeah, now I got to go in there and fix that little pinhole right there. I'm not too worried about it. It'll be all right. Frame looks rough what it is, because it's still got some of that factory undercoating on it, and that old factory rubber undercoating they used to spray on these things. I mean, I think it is the absolute worst thing they ever did, because, I mean, once that stuff flakes off like crazy, look, it's still got some on here, but it traps moisture all up underneath of it, and I don't know, I can't really win on it. But I'm gonna POR15 this whole frame when I'm done, before I put the bed back on. But try to get the leaf springs back on it for now, and go on and get the you know, get all the brake lines and the fuel line and all that run. Fuel tank I'm not worried about. We can do that after the bed's on, because that ain't gonna matter anyway. That ain't too awful bad. But I might throw it back on. I don't know. I'd rather not. I'd rather wait on that, because I don't want to, when I go to set this bed back on, you know, I'm doing it by myself here, and, you know, it takes a little while to do, because you're trying to be careful with it. But trying to get this rear suspension done so I can, you know, get that done and actually get my brake lines, my fuel line, all that run. We're just going to run a 3/8 hard line and just get some 3/16 brake line. I got all that stuff, and I think once we do all that, we'll throw the bed on, and I think we'll go get a tow strap and hook to this thing, clean the inside out, the cab there, and I think we'll hook to it, and we're going to get this thing out of here too, so I can get my Chevelle out of here next, and that way we can have some room. Because eventually here soon I gotta get my SIDs. They're almost exactly where I want them. They gotta be moved instead of being right there, but I want them exactly as they are, but sitting over there, that side, out of the way. Because my Chevelle is behind this one, and it's been stuck back here for, you know, almost 2 years now, and I kind of said a little about what happened with the story, but I'm still, you know, kind of makes me mad, but it's, you know, can't do nothing about it. That's what happens when people, you know, don't listen. But anyway, you think people would have common sense, you know, when I had the sheds delivered and everything. You think, I was like, hold on, don't put that shed back there yet. Let me get my car out of the way. But, people don't have common sense. And, oh, you could back out of that little hole right there. Yeah, where that tree is in the shed. Yeah, you can back out of that. Plenty of room. Oh, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to get into all that, but I'm going to have to cut that tree down. And I got to get this truck out of the way first. But I got to fix it. And then get that tree cut out of the way. And then somehow or another we'll... I don't know, I can't really pull up too much, but I'm going to try and, do like grandma on the rocking chair there and, rock the car back and forth until I can get the tail end of it spun around so I can just back on out of here. But it's been sitting a while here. I say it's been sitting since June 19. Yep, it's been a while. Anyway, so this is where we're at. This ain't a how-to or nothing, but shoot, I got this thing off in probably about 2 hours, probably. But I say I got it off. I mean, I still got to come back and get the rear shackle and the shackle I ain't got really full fat. We'll just leave all that bolted together. You ain't got to take all that apart. Just take your rivets. The easiest way to do this is take a 21 millimeter. And keep all your U-joints in order. That way, I'm going to replace them, but mark them. And it's just the way this goes here. Driver's side, is over here. And then the passenger side is, facing that way where my finger is. The front of the vehicle is, facing the front of the vehicle as it is right now. And, we're going to measure these U-joints and everything. And I believe they're 9/16 U-joints. And you can get them and all, but... I'm going to measure them and make sure everything's put back together temporarily for now, and I'm going to replace that. We're not going to worry about the plates. Nothing wrong with them. I'm going to wire wheel them up, but I don't think it really matters. I mean, I'm sure you can put these on reversible either way, but we're going to keep everything in order because the back end of your truck, just like with this suspension setup, I mean, it's self-aligned pretty much, so... When you take it to a alignment shop, as long as the back end is aligned, which it pretty much is self-aligning, if that makes sense, because it's got a little pin in there, and there's the hole for it. And I'm going to wire wheel all that up real good, and that way you get everything, the way it needs to be. Then when you get the front end lined up, they line it up to the back pretty much. They just square everything up, basically. Make sure the wheel is... not too far in, not too far out, not too far in or out, or blah 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 blah. But yeah, still got to come back in here and get these shock mounts out here and get them out. Like I said, they look worse what they are, but I got all new mounts and everything for it. I mean, but in case you're wondering how I'm doing this, I just take my old handy dandy cherry picker here, and this truck don't weigh that much because the bed's off of it, and even if it was on it. It ain't gonna really hurt nothing, but it just makes it easier, just take the bed off of it. I mean, it ain't but 6 bolts. Unbolt them. If you can't get them unbolted, just take a cut-off wheel like that. Just cut the bolts off and, take the cherry picker, and I just took and walked the bed off. I had the cherry picker at the back of the bed, and I picked this end up and just, very gently, little by little, walked it on back. And of course, I had to keep... sitting it down and coming back and forth and pulling the cherry picker about, a foot or two at a time. But, I mean, this is a one-man job. I mean, so I ain't, well, when I say one man, it's just me. So, you gotta do what you gotta do. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing, start getting that rear mount off here, and get all this stuff bolted back up. And